Hello and welcome back to Riding the Pine. This is our review of Game 18 of the 2020-21 Chicago Blackhawks season. Tonight, the Blackhawks picked up their 9th win of the season, shutting out the Detroit Red Wings by a score of 2-0. But before we get to the review of the game tonight, please do me a really big favor and hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Helps us out a lot. And please leave some comments down below. We've finally been getting some comments, so that's nice to see. We love interacting with you guys, and I look forward to continuing to do that. And without further ado, I'm joined tonight again by Tri Sports fan Joe. Joe, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, Kyle. Yeah, wow, what a game. Great all-around effort. I mean, we had some lapses there too, but Lankinen with the shutout, his first of his career, so congrats to him. Kurashev with a goal that I'm sure is going to be talked about for most, if not all of the rest of the season. What an unbelievable goal. And I mean, really, we held them in check. We did the job tonight. So congrats again to Lankinen.
Yeah, it feels like we really stole 4 points tonight because I think, or not tonight, but this last couple games here, because I think both games easily could have been lost with a bounce here or there. Obviously, with the game the other night going to overtime, but um, and then obviously there was in the third period tonight there was that, was it in the last 3 minutes, that mad scramble with Lankinen out of the net. So the Hawks, I think, got some puck luck finally and come away with the 4 points out of Detroit. And yeah, I thought Kurashev is playing his way, I think, into replacing Dylan Strome, I think, as the second line center. I think that needs to happen next game, actually. I think he
Yeah,
should.
what I mean, it's just a shame, like what's kind of happened with him, how he's kind of fallen off the rails a little bit. But
Well, I don't know. I think it's a case of you got Kubalik struggling and him struggling at the same time, so that line needs boost. And obviously he's struggling mightily at the dot. And I think just I would leave Strom on the second line and Kubalik for now. I think I would, just to switch it up. I think I'd insert Kurashev there, drop Hagel down the lineup again, get Kurashev in the middle, move Strom to wing, and just to get a different look to see if that maybe can spark Kubalik or Strom, putting a young speedster up there, and then also just rewarding Kurashev. Um, One guy that I definitely wanted to shout out tonight because I think it's important. I've continued to see people ragging on him, including tonight, which I don't believe was warranted. Nikita Zadorov played, I think, his best game for Chicago tonight, especially in that third period.
and
Um,
you know who's also surprising me? I mean, Bodan is really come into his own too. What he I thought he had a good game too tonight.
yeah. So interestingly, Adam Boquist, this was his first game back into the lineup tonight since coming back from COVID. So Boquist, Carlson, and Bodan each got about 12 to 13 minutes apiece. So they're basically splitting their ice time, which I'm okay with. Mitchell again playing 17 plus minutes, I thought was nice. And then Zadorov, like I said, I mean, just the individual efforts on several plays. Duncan Keith made a really bad turnover in his own end in the third period, which Zadorov got out of the zone and made up for. There was another play. I don't know if it was on a power play. I think it may have been on that Red Wings power play where Dahan got called for tripping, I believe it was.
Yeah,
And I didn't look. They didn't have a good angle of it, but that looked like a pretty weak call to me. And I thought the officiating tonight was really one sided. Um, I haven't said that, I don't think, much this year, so I think that was noticeable. But um, there was a play on that power play where like Zadorov single handedly pushed their guy out of the zone to get a delayed offside, which I mean, I believe it was on the power play. It may not have been, but I know it was in the third period for sure.
But
And that's just,
that's like what he's been brought in for, to be that big net front presence and that nuisance, and to win puck battles. So it was nice to see that from him.
yeah, he had 4 block shots tonight, led the team with block shots. So again, I don't know where we've talked about, I don't personally think he's a top 4 defenseman. I think he's a third pair guy and a very good one at that. Um, he proved that tonight. So I don't understand why everyone wants to hate on him. But I thought, going back to Adam Boquist, I thought Boquist looked really good tonight in a limited time that he'd come back, because he's been out for a month, seems like.
Yeah, I think didn't he miss, how many games did they say? Was it 8? Or that was Carpenter, right?
Yeah, Carpenter was, I think, 8 games. But,
Yeah.
Boquist too. I mean, because Boquist has basically sat for almost a week since he's been off COVID. So, because I think it's been a week. Because
Yeah.
it was like Monday last week, I think, when he was back. And we expected him to get into the lineup, I think, over the weekend, and he didn't. So yeah, I thought he played well, looked good. Wasn't many issues on
And
that.
and of course Kane and DeBrincat had their chances, but man, yeah, I give credit to Bernier. What a game he had tonight for Detroit.
Yeah, and to be frank, I thought Suter was excellent on that line too.
Yeah, right. Suter had a lot of chances too.
Yeah, so that line is continuing to click. So I don't think, you definitely aren't going to touch that line. They've got to figure out how to get Kubalik and Strome. And Kubalik and Strome together on that second line combined for 2 shots tonight. Like, you just can't have that. Like, you're 2 guys you're relying on that second line to score, and they're just not doing it. So that's got to improve. I thought Hagel had his worst game tonight. He just looks like a passenger a lot, which is obviously, with a guy like him, when he does play like that, it's noticeable, because usually he's playing with his hair on fire. And he did pick it up kind of towards the end, but there were, I think, several shifts where he just kind of looked, I'm here, disinterested, kind of out there. So, and maybe that's part of Strome and Kubalik struggling. I don't know, but they've got to figure that second line out, because you're playing
You think
Carolina.
you move Kubalik up to the top?
Yeah, no, I'm not touching the top line. It's just
No.
you got DeBrincat going, you've got Kane going, Suter's playing really well. I don't think you touch that. You've got to figure out something to do with the rest of your bodies. And they should be able to. Like I said, Strome and Kubalik should be playing better than they are. And it's unfortunate both of them are struggling at the same time, but it is what it is. Like I said, that's why I think, at least maybe as a quick fix, you give Kurashev a shot back in the top 6, see what he can do, have him center that line, move Strome to wing, maybe try to take some pressure off Strome by moving him to wing. I'm just seeing how it goes. But they've got to do something there.
But yeah, it's just, I think the moral is, like, with all the injuries and COVID protocols and everything going on with this team, it's truly remarkable to see how far they've come in just this little amount of time, to be where they are, and to be, pretty much tied atop the Central Division, but we're 18 games in. I mean, I'm not going to throw a party yet, but I mean, the holy cow. I mean, I think most of us Blackhawks fans didn't have this team winning more than, 15 games all season. And they're already, 6 wins away from that. So anything could still happen, but overall, just really impressed with the play from this team so far.
Yeah, I think it's encouraging too. I think Alex Nylander is back working out. For those who follow him on Instagram, he posted quite a bit of workout videos recently. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but so he's back on the grind.
Yeah, I know during one of the intermissions, didn't they update? They tried to get an update about Jonathan Taves, but I believe he said that or whoever it was said it was this. It's status quo is kind of still the same.
Yeah, Doc, we should probably be hearing more about Doc soon. His cast should be coming off. And I think as soon as his cast comes off, he can probably start skating again. So I would expect to start hearing something on him within the next week or so, with him getting back on the grind, obviously, and rehabbing his wrist. So there are guys coming. It's whether we can continue to play at this level. I didn't mention it at the top, but in the last 15 games, so we've played 18. So in 15, after the first 3 games of the season that were obviously atrocious, and you could even really throw the 4th game in there. But in the last 15 games, this team is 9-2-4. That is
7-1-1 in our last 9.
Yeah, that is crazy. And if they can, like I said, if they continue to play at that kind of a clip, they're going to make the playoffs. I have no doubt about that. If they continue playing like this, and I had mentioned to somebody in DMs that I felt like the more you watch this team, I think this team, going back to what I've talked about with them having that Barry Trotz defensive, very choking the life out of the game type of game, since they don't have the offense. I think they really feel out the game. This team feels out the game, and then they take it over. And whether that's through defense or with getting the lead and then, choking up. But with all these 1-goal games, I think, and it's very strange too, I think that this team is able to perform so well in 1-goal games. And, somebody had mentioned to me, well, that Edmonton and Vegas series in the bubble really helped. And, that's true. But at the same time, so many guys on this team weren't even on the roster. Or
Right.
they may have been on that roster.
The Bodans of the world, the Carlsons of the world. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Bodan and Carlson were there, but I don't think maybe Carlson got into a game. But
yeah, I think Carlson maybe got into a game, but I don't think Bodan did.
No. And Mitchell, he's playing top 4 minutes. You didn't have Janmark. Obviously, he was with Dallas. Kurashev didn't play. Suter didn't play. Soderberg didn't play, wasn't there. Granted, he's a vet. But you just look up and down. It's a lot of Lankinen, obviously, and we haven't even talked about Lankinen yet, but his first shutout of the season, obviously, as we mentioned up top, and he just continues to shine. I mean, I was going to ask you, we got 2 games back to back against Carolina coming up. I believe the 19th and the 20th. Do you start? I think you have to. But would you start Lankinen in both games?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see it, but I don't think that's. It seems like, at least from what we've seen thus far, that's not Colliton's style. I feel like he doesn't. I don't know. I think he's done. Has Lankinen played back to back maybe once this year, or twice?
Maybe once.
I think.
Was
Yeah,
that
maybe one?
Well, I can't remember if. Well, no, because he didn't play in the Nashville series. I'm trying to remember if he's played in back to back. Because we haven't actually had many, to be honest.
Was it maybe against the series against? Was it the series against Detroit at home? Did he play both games? But I don't know if those were back to back though.
Yeah, it may have been.
But yeah, I don't think those were back to back though. But I don't. If he hasn't played back to back, which I don't think he has, then I don't think Colliton starts now. I really think they're going to probably.
I think
my guess
have to. Like
I agree. I think they should, but if anything, my guess is Lankinen will. I think he'll get the first game against Carolina, and I think Subban will get the second. That's my guess.
Well, I think it changes. So obviously I agree with you. I think Lankinen gets game 1. If you win game 1, then maybe you go to Subban. But The reason I say you got to start Lankin in both games, he's your best goalie, he is your starter, and that's it's a learning experience for him if he hasn't played back-to-back games yet, and you got to win those. Those are points you have to have. You got to get those points. I mean, I think that's one of the things that we're seeing is so many games that went to overtime or been 1-goal games that we're struggling. I think to separate ourselves from the rest of the teams. If even if the game that we lost to Columbus in regulation because we screwed up in the last 3 minutes of that game, that's 2 points. That's an extra point we'd be in sole possession of first place right now.
Right. Right.
All of those points I think add up. And I think you just want that separation and some breathing room, I think.
And I think haven't we played the most games out of anybody in our division? I think we've played 18 games now.
Yeah, us and Detroit both have 18.
Oh, us and Detroit. Okay. So
yeah, I think and that's another reason why these 2 games are really big, because Carolina's only played 14 games, so they have 4 games in hand.
Right.
So if you can take all 4 points from them, and that's the other thing. I mean, it's important that you win, but it's also important, I think, that you beat them in regulation. You can't let them get points.
Right.
And when we play Carolina and Columbus, these next 4 games are huge in that regard, where we have to win in regulation. Now, if you're playing Florida or Tampa Bay, Florida at this point looks like the real deal. And the last time you and I at least were on the show together, is some speculation about whether Florida was real or not. I think they're real at this point. So, against Florida and Tampa Bay, as long as you win the game, you'll take it. Or even get a point, you'll take it. But I think against Carolina, Columbus, and Dallas, those 3 teams, because those are going to be the 3 teams we're competing with for the last 2 playoff spots, I think you have to beat those teams in regulation. And, it's maybe even more so important with the Columbus series that's coming up after this next series with Carolina, because that will be game 5 and game 6 out of the season against them. So we'll be 2/3, through with them already, or I guess not 2/3, over halfway done, 3/4 way done with Columbus. So those are going to be 2 huge games down in Columbus. And then obviously you want to keep this momentum going into Columbus, doing well in Carolina. So
yeah, I know that's what I said. I know, finish in February, is going to be, because like I said, we have Detroit, we took 4 out of 4 with Detroit now. And then you got, I think, Carolina, Columbus. And then I think, do we wrap up the month against Detroit?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. So, which old Hawks teams haven't done. So I guess this is a positive. We're beating the teams that we should beat barely, but we're doing it. Now, obviously, we lost 2 games to Nashville in overtime in a shootout, but we still got a point out of both of those games. So that'll be the next time we play Nashville. That'll be important too. You have to beat the teams that you should beat.
Right.
So happy to see that we got the 2 wins against Detroit, obviously. But yeah, this team's fun, man. We've been talking about it all year. This team's fun. And
I think that that's what makes it great too, because they're young, they're inexperienced, they don't, it's not to say that they don't know, but they're not, I think what's nice is they're not thinking, they're going out there and they're playing.
Yeah, they don't know any better.
So, and that's what's great about young teams, is they don't think, they just go out there and they play.
Yeah, and again, it's fun. And I don't know if you wanted to touch on, I don't really have much else to say about the game, to be honest. I mean, I thought, like I said, Boquist got back in tonight, first game back since COVID. I thought he played well. Zadorov had arguably his best game of the season. And we touched on Bodan and Mitchell, Lankinen getting his first goose egg, and obviously that ridiculous goal by Kurashev. And I mean, DeBrincat got the empty netter. DeBrincat's been, and like, I don't know if the guy's took steroids or something when he was on COVID leave or something, but the dude is just on another level.
Yeah.
Come back. I think he had 6 shot attempts in 6 minutes in the first period.
Yeah, the chemistry that him and Kane have is really awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, and Carpenter again got in his first game back. He had 5 hits tonight, so that was good to see from him. I don't know if we'll see any lineup changes going into Carolina. I probably wouldn't think that we would. I think they'll probably roll.
I know you've been high on trying to get Kalynuk in there.
Yeah, at this point, I was thinking about bringing that up again, but it's just like, what left is there to say? I mean, they've been screwing that kid around. Like, he's been up another week and a half since.
What is he on the taxi squad right now?
Well, they must have moved him back down to the taxi squad, right? Because remember, they had sent Boquist down to the taxi squad and called him up. So since Boquist played tonight, I'm assuming that he must have been sent back down to the taxi squad. So, like, again, I don't know what they're doing with him. You would think that you would want him playing and that you wouldn't call him up until you're going to play him. Like, for sure, going to play him. Because he's missing development in Rockford. Like, everyone can sit here and argue with me that, it's good for him to be sitting in the stands and being around NHL players. And, that's mighty fine. But I don't see a point to him sitting around when he could be playing top 4 minutes down in Rockford. I mean, the kid he's played 2 games in a year. So,
yeah. Yeah, I know. I hope they do find him some time somewhere, whether it be, up with us or in Rockford. But
yeah, you sent it to me. I don't know if you want to touch on it before we sign off here, but I don't remember. I don't know who first reported it, so I'm not even going to bring it up. I'm not going to get into that measuring contest. I don't know if it was Brandon McCain. I don't know if it was Tirabassi. I don't know who it was, but you sent it to me. The Hawks are looking at a guy out in the KHL.
Yeah, Damir Zafirov. I don't know if that's
don't kill us on the pronunciation, because I tried to find how to pronounce it and I couldn't find anything. I don't speak Russian, so
right.
But just
supposedly, the Blackhawks and the Red Wings made him an offer.
So that should be a no-brainer for him, wouldn't it? I mean,
you would think, but I don't know. I don't know if he wants to. Yeah,
maybe he get more playing time with Detroit. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
but so he's like the third in points in the KHL this season. 26 years old, will be 27 this March. Interesting guy. We've talked about the Hawks needing a winger and a scorer. So, is this the guy? I mean, I don't know. We've waxed poetically about there not being a heck of a lot in free agency other than big fish, and there's really only 1 or 2 of those. So I don't know. But with the Hawks free agency and scouting, just look at this roster.
Kurashev, these European players continuing making impacts. So
David Camp, Dominic Kubalik, Phillip Kurashev, Pius Suter, Dominic Kubalik, Lucas Carlson, Kevin Lankinen. Half the roster is here because of European scouting. It's insane. Even Soderberg, I think, was going to play in Europe this season before they brought him over. He may have already been playing over there. because he couldn't get an NHL gig until Taves was out. But yeah, I mean, just up and down, and that doesn't include the guys that they've brought in that are gone: Panarin, Kempney, Ruda, uh, Cahoon, Gustafson, all those guys.
Yeah, that's why we got to credit. Yeah, I think Stan Bowman and his scouting staff, for bringing, like I said, finding these diamond in the rough type guys. Because especially, I think there was a stat out there that Kurashev, he was drafted, I think, 120th overall, and he's one of only, I think, 3 players between. I don't know if it was, I forget what, I don't know if it was Terabasi that said it,
I think
between,
it was Ben Pope that put it
or
out.
Ben Pope. Yeah, between
Yeah,
like rounds 3 and 7, there's only like 3 players currently playing in the NHL right now, and Kurashev is one of the 3.
yeah, but that's the 2018 draft. So we're talking 2 drafts out, or I guess 3 drafts out. I don't know if I would put much stock in that, because if you're talking amateur 18-year-olds, like, eh, from the 3rd round down, I don't know if I'd give that stat much credibility. I mean, it's nice, obviously, right? But you know, it's still too early, I think, to be taking victory laps on that. I think, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, yeah, like, but like I know he, you found Panarin, you found, a lot of these guys that have, been, like I said, nobody thought they'd really amount to much, but he's found, like I said, the diamonds in the rough that have really turned into, really great players so far.
yeah, and they've got Arthur Kaimov over there in the KHL as well, who they own the rights to. So interesting to see if they bring in some Russians. They haven't since Panarin, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think that'll wrap this up. Unless you have, I know you're going to be missing from the podcast this weekend, so I don't know if you had anything you wanted to add about the games coming up, or
Yeah, no, I think it's just important that we continue to play hard. I mean, I'll try to glance at my, if I can get some, highlights or updates of the games, I'll do my best to keep up with it. And, if there's anything I want you to throw into the podcast, I can maybe send you a message. But um, I think it's just, like I said, we got to keep playing the way we're playing. We got to, I mean, especially now, I mean, we're moving on to Carolina now, and we know how Carolina is. They're still a very good hockey team. And, we can't, I almost feel like, though, I mean, I don't know if you got a sense of this, Kyle, like the Blackhawks kind of playing down to Detroit in these 2 games, even though we
yeah,
won, but
it was, well, that's why I said it feels like kind of like we stole 4 points, because you could make an argument that tonight was pretty average, but equal, I guess. But last night, or not last night, but Monday, that was not a good showing from the
yeah,
Hawks. That was, they stole that game.
right.
Um,
So
so
now it's like we're going up against Carolina. So, obviously we can't play the way we did against Carolina, the way we did against Detroit. So we have to play, we have to step up our game a lot more. And, kind of the way we've been playing, those better echelon teams. So,
Well, yeah, and I think that's something important too. That's why I mentioned earlier. I've just been noticing with the way the games have flowed, that it seems like they kind of feel the game out a little bit, and then they figure out how they're going to play or what they're going to do. Um, so that's something to keep an eye on. Like I said, it's so amazing. Oh, and real quick, one thing we haven't talked about. Um, I mean, we've talked about it before, but the defense being active this season has just been, I think, a revelation for this team. It's something they've wanted to do for years now, and they're finally able to do it with these young kids they got coming up into
yeah, and
the lineup.
especially our rookie 3, making things happen. Yeah, Mitchell, Bodan, and Boquist, especially today. Um, going, bringing the puck up on the power play, and even just, on 5-on-5, we're doing a good job of getting the puck up and into the neutral zone and getting it into their zone to set up our offense.
Right. Defense has been great this season for the most part, which, is all you can ask for considering all the rookies. But with that, everybody, we will wrap this up. Again, the Chicago Blackhawks got their first shutout of the season. Kevin Lankinen got his first shutout of his career, so congratulations to him. The Blackhawks improved their record to 4-0 against Detroit, and overall they are now 9-5-4 on the season and 9-2-4, I believe, in their last 15 games. So good things are happening for the Madhouse on Madison and for Blackhawks faithful. So we've got the Carolina Hurricanes coming up this weekend. So we'll be looking forward to those games. But until next time, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, wear your mask, take care of each other, stay warm, and let's go Hawks.
All right, go Hawks. Thanks again, everybody.